Yeah. What is up, man? What's up, YouTube? This is Eliseo, man. Welcome to Content Ecosystem. On this channel, we talk about content creation and monetization. So not only do we talk about helping you create the content, but we help you figure out how you can monetize that content. And fairly newly branded channel. So we're live right now. This is actually a new series that I'm put together called Creators on the Come Up. And now we might we might have to change this name with our guest tonight because these are creators that done came up. Now, excuse my corny jokes, but no, in all seriousness, I think it's really important that we have people who have paved the way and have already kind of figured some things out that they can impart that knowledge into what we're trying to do, and myself as well, and my audience. So I think that's super important. So, tonight I'm just super elated to have the Onyx family with me tonight. It's just an honor that they would join me on my show, and so I'm excited about that. But so just really quick, I do have to say this show is sponsored by TubeBuddy. If you don't know what TubeBuddy is, it's a Chrome extension for serious YouTubers. It helps you get your analytics and help you get all the information that you need so you can scale your channel. Serious YouTubers use it, and is really a big help to them. So definitely check out tubebuddy.com. I'll have a link in the description for you to check out like a free trial or something that they gave me for my audience. So shout out to TubeBuddy for sponsoring this show. But without further ado, we're going to get right to the show. I'm super excited. If you guys have questions, feel free to ask questions. I'm going to be asking some questions. I'm literally going to be taking notes. I'm going to be like, man, it's going to be amazing. So shout out to the Onyx family. Let's get right to it. Oh, we did that already. This is fun. All right. Welcome, Onyx family. Welcome to Creators on the Come Up. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. How are y'all doing tonight?
We're doing well. Thank you for inviting us.
Yeah.
No, thank you for accepting. I really, truly appreciate it. So my name is Eliseo Way. I know that y'all have never met me. We're all kind of virtual in this post-COVID world. Can I say post-COVID yet?
I don't know about that.
I don't know. We're
still mid-COVID.
We're still quarantining.
Is that mid-COVID? Absolutely. So I think that's just such a beautiful thing about, if I can think of a positive that has come out of COVID, it's just being able to make relationships with people who I don't necessarily think you would have been able to make relationships with, before COVID,
Right.
So I think that's such a beautiful thing. If there's any blessing that come out of this, it's just me being able to meet you guys virtually. And now you guys are, on my show. So I think that's just phenomenal and amazing. I would ask you if you just introduce yourself, tell us your name, and then we'll kind of go from there.
Yeah. So I'm Murthel, and this is my wife, Rita. And like you said, our brand name is the Onyx Family.
Wow.
And
right. We have a channel. It started off as a channel on YouTube called Onyx Family. We've been able to do multiple spin-offs from that main channel, like Onyx Kids, Onyx Life, and sometimes, depending on the name, we'll attach Onyx to the back. So like my daughter has a cardio fitness brand, so we called it Cardionics. And
wow.
My son, he does a lot of gaming, so we called it Play Onyx.
Wow.
One of the things that I know we're going to get into in this discussion or interview is about the importance of branding. So right from the beginning, when we knew that Onyx was something that was going to define us,
yes,
I needed to make sure that it was everywhere, so that hopefully at some point when people see the word Onyx, they will wonder, oh wait, is that family? The same way when I see the word Apple or Amazon or something like that.
Wow, that's deep.
Now, back in our day, Onyx was a rap group, but we're about to, erase that for this next generation.
I have a funny story about Onyx. So, like my mom, she wouldn't let me listen to like rap music, right? She called it all like the blues. So she was like, "Don't be playing no blues in my house." But yeah, Onyx came out with this song called Slam. It was like Slam, da,
Oh yeah,
da, da. And man, when I heard that song, I was like in middle school, and that song was just so dope to me. I remember her going to work, right, and I would play it on the her little system, right. So I remember I had just got lost. I was in the living room just Slam, da, 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 and my mom had got off work. And I did not hear her pulling up in the yard. And she came through the door and she seen me jamming to Slam. And she was just like, get my belt. You know, it was just
turn off them blues.
So yeah, you just took me back. But I think what you just said, you said Rita, should I call you Miss Rita? I don't know. Like, you know.
Oh no, you can call me Rita.
Okay, cool. All right. So yeah, Rita, what you said was just so profound. And we're gonna get back to that. So I think it's so awesome that you knew even in the early stage, kind of like brand recognition and also to keep it simple, like, you know, Apple, Nike, these are like simple brand names, simple recognition that you kind of like Onyx and that's kind of what you stuck with. And it's worked. Right. It's working. So I think that is just phenomenal. So, you know, I will say how I even came into you guys' brand was like when I kind of started getting into YouTube, like a little bit last year. And I just kind of started looking at what was going on. You know, I do have to say, like, I was actually looking for, you know, Black content creators and Black families. And I think it's really important to have like that type of, you know, connection, right, with other creators, you know, if that, you know, if that makes sense. And you guys were one of the first people that I came across on, you know, on YouTube. And I was just blown away. And I immediately, I wouldn't say I began to study your channel, but it was kind of like I was because I was kind of looking at all your videos. I was binging them. I was seeing how you guys were doing the editing. I was seeing like, you know, how you guys were doing so many things. And, you know, it was just amazing to me how much you guys had put together around YouTube. And it kind of one of those things that opened up my mind to like, yo, this YouTube thing is serious. Like this is actually like legit, you know? So I would love to you guys just to talk about real quick, like, did the Onyx thing start before YouTube and you brought it on the YouTube, or like how did it start like with YouTube?
Yeah, this is Rita's territory. She's the brains of branding. She's the brains of Onyx Family. I like to call myself the heart, so I'll let her take the lead.
Okay. Yeah, absolutely. Go ahead.
Well, definitely it was started after actually we started YouTube. So when we first started YouTube, something we don't really talk about as much, but you know, when we were trying to tell our story, we have to talk about it, is we actually started in the superhero genre. So I don't know if you were, I don't know if you remember that a few years ago, there was this craze where people would put on Spider-Man costumes and hero costumes. And I saw people making like money and I thought, well, you know, this is when my kids were younger. I thought, well, it is kind of weird for the adults maybe to do it, but what about kids? You know, kids who are dressing up like their favorite heroes. What about if my children were to be able to do that? So that's how we actually started. And
she had a nurse. She was a nurse practitioner who owned a medical company.
Wow.
Right.
And so at that point in time, it was just launching. It was the first year of it launching. And she didn't really like the medical
what he was trying to say is that I was so burnt out. I was so burnt out because, you know, at that point, and this is a whole nother podcast, you know, pharmaceutical companies insurance companies running the whole thing. And it's just like, I can't even treat the patients the way I want to.
Wow.
So yeah, I was burnt out and I wasn't really spending a lot of time with the family because I was juggling different nurse practitioner jobs.
Wow.
If I wasn't at the hospital, I was at a nursing home. If I wasn't there, I was at somebody's home doing home care, like everything. Like I was doing it all, psych, everything, telemedicine, and I was tired. So I said, you know what? I want to spend more time with my kids. How could I do this in a really fun way? And then, you know, if we make any money, we make money. I did not think we would be able to make money, not because I didn't believe in us, but it was so new that I thought, I don't even know how this works.
What year is this? What year is this?
This was 2016. 2016.
That's not that long ago, to be honest with you.
No, it wasn't. So it really wasn't. And I would say we started in about March.
In about March.
The
beginning of March 1st. You did your research prior to March 1st, but we did a serious launch March 1st.
And within 2 weeks, I knew, oh my goodness, I could quit my job.
Yeah.
And
2 weeks.
it was
really.
it was crazy.
It was
crazy. It was that successful.
And it was at a time where if you studied the algorithm and you understood trends and you were able to tap in with keyword optimization, like these were the days where you could make it.
Yeah, but this is the important thing. Our first video got like 9 views. And I said, 9? Where's the millions? What's going on? Like, what's the gap here? Like, I'm just trying to figure out what happened. Yeah. So that's what spurred me on to start looking online. And when I started looking online, I started learning search engine optimization.
Wow.
I learned about stacking, like your keywords, even when you're saving your thumbnail file. I learned about tags. I learned about descriptions, about, the first words count, like all those things.
Yes.
And if I started to put it together, and that video, when we started implementing everything, that video picked up views. And by, I would say, a week, we were out in the hundreds of thousands, and I think 2 weeks we were over in the millions already. And it was,
and we made so much money in that first month. Not only did she say, you know what, I'm going to have to transition off of this medical company to do this full time, or else we would be losing money.
Wow.
And we made more money than we had ever seen in our life. It just,
and that quickly, I should say.
That quickly.
Yeah.
So,
and we were just like, whoa.
Right.
Man, hold on. Hold on. I got to step down on this. So you're saying, so you had already monetized your channel and everything that was already ready, set to go?
Yes, because back then, I would say everything on YouTube really started changing after probably 2017.
Yeah.
Okay.
But 2016 and prior to that, you were basically monetized right away.
Oh.
So it was really easy to get going. I mean, if I were to tell people how I got started back then versus now, I could not say the same tactics, the same everything, because things have changed so radically on the platform.
Wow.
But back then, it was something where if you could get into that algorithm, it was phenomenal success. And by the next month, we paid off all of our debt. I mean, it was just incredible. It changed our life.
Off of ad revenue monetization, or
just AdSense. I hadn't even branded yet.
And the thing about it is, branding came. We didn't brand until November. So in March, we started in March, and our first channel, the Onyx Kids, was the first channel that we came up with. That was in November.
Right.
By around the summertime, Rita had already figured out that we need our own IP. Yes. We can't use Marvel's IP.
We can't use Marvel, Disney. Right. Like, while it's cute, I started to see, like, we can't really be known as, the reps or, just using like costumes.
Yeah.
So that's when I had this family meeting and I said, okay, guys, we need to start with our own brand. I want everybody to do some research. Now, I was doing my research, but from the get-go, I've always wanted to include my family. And I always wanted them to feel like this is theirs.
Yeah.
So what we did was we came up with the name. I'm the one that basically came up with it, because I always felt like, okay, what would symbolize my family the most?
Something black. So we went through
black.
Ebony. We went through,
and
noir.
Right.
We went through all the black words that we could find.
Yeah.
But I always thought of my kids as my jewels. And so I thought, the word onyx, symbolizing my kids are my jewels, my precious jewels.
Right.
Our family is precious. And so that's basically where the word onyx came from for us, for our brand name. Something very easily.
And I like to say this, that we realized really quickly that just because we got a big paycheck every month, we were still, that's almost like still having a job. A paycheck is a job. And it doesn't matter how big your paycheck is or small your paycheck is. If you have a job, then you have a boss. And if you have a boss, you can get fired. And we realized that we didn't want to go from a decent paying job to a very well-paying job. We wanted to own. We wanted to be entrepreneurs. We wanted to be able to have our own IP. We wanted to be able to have our own brand. And so we quickly realized that what YouTube needs to be is needs to be our partner, not our boss.
Right.
They need to be our partner. And as people are coming to you for brand deals, if you notice, you don't really see McDonald's having a channel. You don't see, Kool-Aid having a channel. They'll come to us and say, hey, we would like you, the Onyx family, to represent us.
Right.
Yes.
But they don't have a channel and they're not making money that way. It's through advertisements. And so we realized really quickly, oh, I see. We don't want you to be our boss, but just like all the other Fortune 500 companies, they will be our partner.
Wow.
So we said, okay, we got to get multiple streams of income and become a company so that while we potentially could make money on YouTube, that's not the only way we will make money. Yeah. We're going to make money having our own brand and use YouTube as a marketing strategy to advertise
our
Onyx.
brand. Yeah.
Okay, that's a lot right there. Okay, I want to go back a little bit because I want to embody that moment when you said, when we started, things kind of took off and we paid off all of our debt with AdSense money. You know, I can't even imagine how that would feel. Now, I remember when I got my first AdSense check, it was about $700, and then like the next one, it was about $1,300, and I was like, "What?" I'm like, "Hold on, time out." That's when the light bulbs went off. So I could just imagine having like millions of views, and you guys are getting these massive checks. I remember I saw a video from y'all. This was like a year or two ago, and y'all were moving in a new house, right? And this house was so beautiful and so big, and I'm scratching my head saying, "Is this all YouTube money?" You know, I'm saying to myself, is this all YouTube money? And I just couldn't really wrap my head around that. But just to attest to what you guys are saying, that the AdSense were and still is doing all that for you guys.
I would say like that video, if I'm thinking it's the same video, that is way beyond AdSense now. That is multiple streams of income we have like
brand deals,
and we have other ventures,
so many other ventures and
that
brands
we've used our brand with that are off YouTube, you know, which I assume we're going to talk about possibly, but maybe not. Actually, this is more about YouTube. But we have books, we have certain websites, we have learning systems. Like we have a lot of other things that we've been able to brand because I've always thought that you can't really depend. You cannot put your eggs in one basket. And while AdSense money is good, to be honest, it hasn't been the same since, let's say, 2017 when they made all these changes.
Yeah.
And so if we were still operating like full time, like we're only doing YouTube, I mean, we would be sunk right now. Not in terms of money, not sunk. That's not the right word. I would not feel comfortable. You know, because you never know when the rug could be pulled under you. I would say I would be sunk mentally, like not adapting with the times.
But what I will say is that YouTube has been our foundation. We didn't come from somewhere else.
Yes.
And had this Onyx concept. This came off of YouTube. Everything that we have right now started with YouTube, came off of YouTube. We just decided that would be the ground that we grew our garden.
Yes.
And I'm glad that we did. You know, going back to the whole concept of like advertisement and branding.
Yes.
Advertising is where the money is. That's where big money is. If you notice football, you don't make the most money from people coming to the football game or coming to the basketball game. Movies and advertisement, really, it's all about television shows. It's all about advertising. What are the advertisements in between? Mm-hmm. And so we realized very quickly that we needed to be able to be a brand that had that kind of concept. Where is the money?
Yes.
How can you make money? Do you see what I'm saying?
Yes, absolutely.
And that became very important to us, that we become a company with our own brand, partnering with YouTube. So YouTube, put it this way. This is what I really want to say. Put it this way. YouTube is the platform where you can advertise all your products. You can advertise books if you're selling books. You can advertise your app if you have an app. That's what companies like Kool-Aid and all of the companies do. They come here to advertise, right? Where do you have a platform where you can come advertise and make money, but then they also pay you? There is really
no other platform like that.
No other platform. So that's what really blew our mind when we realized the opportunity that we had was that we were able to take a platform. Not even Facebook does that. You have to pay for Facebook ads.
You do.
When you come on YouTube, they pay you, and you get to
advertise,
promote your own self.
Wow.
And so when we saw that, that's exponential wealth.
Yes. Yes.
You get paid to advertise
But the
yourself.
thing is, though, I really want to make sure, though, that we are clear, though, on a few other things, because that's just the business side of it.
Yes.
There was another side of when we started, like when I originally said, like, oh, I want to spend more time with my kids. I want to spend more time with my family. So what we did was I said, what's the worst that could happen? We have family memories.
Right.
And as everything grew, immediately we incorporated, I made them partners, and we made sure that, so they are owners of our company.
Let's go.
That we make sure that they know they're working for themselves, that they're creating a legacy for them and their own children, going further.
And we homeschool them their entire life. So they've not really gone to school, I think maybe for one semester.
Yes.
And so that became a part of their curriculum, teaching them how to make money, teaching them how to budget, teaching them how to create revenue from different streams.
Right.
And then also teaching them the mechanisms of whatever business you have. So when we have this YouTube business, part of their curriculum was learning how to edit, learning how to film, learning how to create a script.
Wow.
Right. We always, it was always a family business from the get-go. And we just wanted to make sure that they had the tools so that when they do, go off and start making their own families, they know the basics of making an income online.
Yes.
And that's why our brand is not just YouTube. It's a lot of other things about making an online income.
Wow.
Because that was very important to us. And I just wanted to make sure that
absolutely.
I shared that.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I think I remember the founder of Alibaba. I think it was Alibaba. He was like an Asian dude, I think. I don't know. But he said a quote, and he was talking about children, and as far as like how you should be raising them curriculum wise. And he was saying like some people will raise their children to learn the dead presidents of the United States, or learn immaterial, in his words, immaterial information. And he was like saying, I'm going to teach my children. He was saying the same things that you were saying: video editing, coding. I'm going to teach my children these things, because why fill your children head up with stuff that they're not going to use and apply in the real world? So what you guys just said literally it reminded me of something that he said. And I just think that's phenomenal. Now I want to back up just a little bit, because I think this is super important. Now, Rita, when you said, hey, I'm going to leave my job, I'm going to do this, did you come up with a process of like, man, I'm going to film this many videos, or I know it's different now because you said it's different. The platform is different. So you can't really take that formula, but what was your work like as a family? What were you guys work ethic like? Like how did that look?
At first it was slower because we were just getting used to things. So we were like, we should try to film 2 videos a day, because we thought a 2-minute video should only be a few minutes. But that's how new we were. Right. But it ended up, we were able to film like in blocks. So we might film like a video or 2, and then the next day be able to edit and upload. So we were able, at that point in time, we were uploading almost daily.
Yeah.
But they were they were like 2-minute videos, and we were able to kind of get it off. Once we started rolling within like maybe a month, we were able to do that within like maybe an hour of filming and an hour of editing. And that's just, and it started just become like
who did the filming and the editing? Who held the cameras?
Most of the times in the beginning, I held the camera because the kids were the actors.
Yeah.
So in the beginning, most of the time it was me.
Before
Onyx? This is before Onyx.
Who did the editing? Because I saw y'all guys editing get better and better.
I learned how to edit.
Okay.
Then I taught my kids how to edit.
Oh, wow.
So that they would know. And now the student has become the teacher. They've surpassed everything.
Yeah. So for the vast majority of videos that you see,
yes,
the kids do the editing after she taught them, because that's basically how it has always been.
Right.
Yes.
She kind of researches everything, teaches us.
Yes.
And then, we kind of go from there. And so, but our main editor is Shasha. She's the main editor. So she comes in with all that
they all know how to edit. They all do edit. Like my daughter, she'll edit her gaming video. Shiloh will edit his gaming video. The family videos, they will kind of take turns depending on who's doing what. And, so it all depends on what videos, but definitely this has been an in-house operation
I was going to
for
ask that too. Like, you haven't done any outsourcing at all, as far as the editing or
no.
filming?
And
Editing,
it's
I
not
think
that
we tried
we've,
editing.
we've tried.
We tried
but
editing one time or twice.
Our kids actually really, they like to have control over
Yes.
how if everything is done. They have a
Yes.
certain standard.
Yes.
And we've tried other editors and they're like, nah, I don't like this. I'd rather do it.
Wow.
So we try other things around to ease up our schedule. Like we'll have teams for other things.
Yes.
You know, like I don't know, like things for the house. I don't really expect them to do certain things because I will have help so that, because we have, you know, our business takes up our time.
Nice. That's phenomenal. So, okay.
One of our writers, Shalom, does a lot of the writing, especially the Onyx kids writing.
Okay.
And so to give you an example of how we did our homeschooling, teaching her script writing became important so that she not only would write the scripts, but learning how to do it properly, which now that we're partnered with Pocket Watch and we have a cartoon out called Onyx Monster Mysteries, we're sitting down with Albie Heck, who is the president, the one that created SpongeBob, the one that created Jimmy Neutron, all the greats. You know, he was the president of Nickelodeon. So he's sitting down and he manages our project along with Doreen Spicer, who is
worked on the Proud Family.
Worked on the Proud Family. She's a producer of the Proud Family. So they work on our project. It's now on Amazon, by the way, Amazon Prime. And Amazon
congratulations, congratulations. That is that's phenomenal.
So now that we're sitting at the table now that we're sitting at the table, our children now are able to get writing credits because she now knows how to write scripts.
That's phenomenal.
Sitting with a phenom that she used to watch when she was a little kid. And so when it comes to education, you know, and I'm plugging in education because we have an education app that's about to come out called Onyx.
But even for the Onyx Monster Mystery, though, even with that, our other daughter does all the songs.
Right.
So
we have our daughter who writes music. She writes the songs. We got her a studio, so she's in the studio. So she actually writes all the songs for the cartoon, all the raps, all the songs, everything. She gets all the writing credits and all the song credits for that. Jeez. So that the revenue that comes in, she owns all the rights to that song. So setting your children up when you're educating them and when you're thinking about branding, you want to set your children up so that they are able to be autonomous, that they're able to do this thing well, and they're able to take over. And so we have an education app that's going to be coming out before September.
Yes.
And so the audience that sees this, if you're interested in how can you reproduce the same thing that we have done with your own children and creating a brand for yourself, this is a project that Rita has put a lot of sweat equity into it.
I was actually going to ask y'all that too. Like, have y'all come up with a course or something like that? Is this what you guys are talking about as far as teaching other people how to rep? No, it's different.
So this one in particular is it's going to be actually for people that are going to be homeschooling their children.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Gotcha.
So this is going to be sort of like a curriculum.
Okay.
It's going to begin with traditional curriculum, things that we did in the beginning, traditional, but then it's going to become, you know, more untraditional curriculum, kind of like modeling how we were able to raise our children, making sure that they have practical learning going on. But we do have coaching that we have on Coach Onyx. So if you go to www.onyxfamily.com, there is a link where we do coaching and consulting, where we do one-on-one coaching, consulting.
Well, yeah, because we used to have a class, but we felt that it was too hard to keep updating every few months with YouTube and the new policies and the trends. And we felt like everybody has such a unique goal that we wanted to support. And so, we said, you know what, let's just switch it to coaching.
Let me ask you, how did the COPPA and all that affect you guys at all? Like the COPPA laws and all that, how did that impact you guys? I was wondering about that.
Oh man, yeah, that impacted
everybody.
Yeah, like if you do anything remotely, even family oriented, COPPA's after you because children may want to watch that.
Yeah.
So, you know, now that everybody has to keep checking made for kids, not made for kids, we'll have content that we think is just family centered, but not necessarily, for children. And you'll get a thing from YouTube, except for kids. And the thing is, there is a gray area. The interesting thing about our kids, and I like to also point this out, when they started, they weren't that young. My son maybe was young, but my children were fully like late teens. Because right now, my oldest daughter will be 22 this year.
Nice.
And my other daughter will be 21. And then I have a
Shasha is 18 in just a couple months. And Shiloh just turned 14.
Yeah. So
y'all out the woods now. Y'all out the woods now.
Right.
Exactly. So we're in this arena with COPPA that it's like our kids might look a little younger than they are, or a lot younger than they truly are. And there's a lot of gray area. So it's an interesting development. I think it's really impacted a lot of people who want to get started right now, like a family. Like I have a cousin, she wanted to do a certain channel with just her kids. And I said, no, you need to really do this from your perspective as a mom.
Wow.
Don't even try it anymore as like a little toddler.
But y'all never slowed down or stopped dropping the videos. You didn't. I didn't see much of a pivot in that sense. Like, so you guys kind of stayed to your guns and kept dropping the videos.
I think for the past year, I think we've transitioned over the past year. I think a year and a half. I think we've done major transitioning to focus on some other things in our business.
Okay.
And always like putting videos here and there so it doesn't look like we're gone.
Yeah.
But we definitely started our transition, I would say, at least a year and a half.
Right. Because I feel like one of the new trends now is not necessarily daily videos like it was maybe a few years ago.
Okay.
And like I laugh because like my children, they love, I call them my children, but they're not children, but they
they always gonna be your babies. They always
always right. They love this one creator who uploads like maybe once a month. He even took a year off, and they've been checking all the time. Did he upload? And every time he uploads, there's like a praise dance around here. So it's like that's the kind of environment where I think people are really more appreciating when people do upload, they don't take it for granted. So I think right now it's a balance of not wanting to overwhelm your audience, because now it's not just that the environment on YouTube has changed. The environment on a whole in the landscape has changed.
Wow.
You're competing with Instagram Reels. You're competing with TikTok. Wow. You're competing with so many other things that, it doesn't make a lot of sense putting all your time in uploading just on YouTube when you've got to keep up all the other platforms.
Wow. That's a nugget right there, because you hear people say don't do that, and you're saying do that, like focus on the big picture versus just one platform. So that's pretty dope. Did y'all ever move? Like, where do y'all live? Is like LA, or I would think LA. It's not LA where you guys live?
We had lived in LA.
I'm from LA originally, and I haven't lived there, and we didn't live there in so many years. We've been on the East Coast and in the South. So now it's a couple years, but in 2019, we actually had a house over there as well. So we have a home in the South, and then we had a place also in LA. And right when I was about to get like a second place out there, because we do have upcoming projects that makes it a lot easier, something just said, you know what, now is not the right time. And I'm telling you, 2 months later, COVID started. So
right.
I just have
we just came back to our house in the South, and we've been here ever since. So whenever we have a project to do, we just do it from here, just like how we're doing
until
it with
things
you.
clear up, and then probably.
Yeah, I'm in Florida, so I know all about the South. That's dope. So cool. I don't know why. I just thought maybe you guys lived over there in LA with all the studios and stuff like that. So that's pretty dope. So I mean, I could let's see, it's 9:32. So we're probably gonna go another 15 minutes, and then I want to jump on the Clubhouse and let people ask you guys some questions.
Sure.
But I have so many things that I would want to talk to you about. Now, just really quick, is there anything, like, let me ask you, if somebody were starting like YouTube right now, like what would be the advice, or what would be the mindset that you would tell them right now? Because so much has changed, and I think that you guys did get in. It's kind of a blessing when you got in, and you were able to kind of capitalize rather quickly. I know that you guys still believe in YouTube. You're still doing it, and I'm pretty sure you would still encourage people to get in where they fit in. But what would you say should be the mindset of anybody starting YouTube now, and what would you have?
Well, quickly, I'll just say, and I know Rita probably has a far more,
not too far.
But what I will say is just do not expect a ton of money. Don't expect this to be the money maker at this point in time right now, especially if you're doing it. If you're doing it for kids and family, you don't even expect any money. But but don't come in as though this is going to be the money maker. Use it as a platform to be able to launch your business, and then think of ways that you can make money off YouTube. And that's where Rita comes in.
Jumping off of that is because you can't get monetized right away. So now you do have to kind of prove it. You have to get the subscribers, get the watch time and everything in order to become monetized. But I would tell people right now, start right away thinking of how you're going to brand. I'm a big believer in branding. So it means just like something that you will be known as, something that people easily recognize what you do. So that right now you're trying to get into the algorithm. So if you kind of go on there, kind of like, I'm not sure where I fit in, what I want to do, it will just slow down where the algorithm files you. You got to think of like an algorithm, like a file cabinet. So once you get in and you say, hi, I'm, John, that I like to review cars, right away, the computer will start, or the algorithm will say, oh, let's start pairing them up with people who like to review cars. If you're like, I like to review cars today, but then I kind of like cooking over here. And then I kind of like, just vlogging over there. It's going to take a lot longer for the computer to figure out where do we put this person.
Wow.
And so that's why there are some people who get like immediate success, even right now, even with how hard it is, just because they're able to really niche. But on the flip side of that, let's just say you want to be a general vlogger and you're just like, hey, I just want to be like a family vlogger. And, I think that, again, there's still a niche within that. If you look at certain communities like the Utah community, or if you look at like just certain communities that do certain vlogging, you got to kind of mimic the style first, mimic what is popular, and then you can and you can do your own twist. But as you get more popular, then you can be your unique self. But right now, you need to hitch your wagon on the trends, on what's happening that's really with the people that are really popular right now, and do similar things and mimic what people are looking for. And then once you start drawing the audience, then you could be a little more unique and say, okay, let me give them something different. But one rule about YouTube is there's always those outliers. You could come in and be like, I am a potato farmer, and people will be like, yes, I want to see that.
Right.
Yes, more potatoes. So. What does a typical day or like a week or look like now with you guys? Because I mean, I can't say you guys have made it, even though you have made it. But like, is it still the hustle bustle, or is it still like super grindy, or what is it?
You have to stay hungry in anything in life.
Yeah.
No matter what you are or what you do, you have to stay hungry. The moment that you are not hungry and you stop grinding, that's the moment that somebody comes and just moves you out of that
because there's
that
always
spot.
someone ready to take your spot.
Yeah.
Right.
So the hustle, though, has changed. It's not all about creating videos. It's balancing the overall brand. And it's funny because just today I made an account on a business social media app so that we could actually parcel out all of our different projects, the different teams that we have for different things, because we just needed to be even more organized, because the brand is so much bigger than just YouTube.
Yeah. What is that app called? I need that.
Oh man, there's so many. We have like a Slack now, and something like that. So yeah.
So I know.
And when I say like someone will move you out, I'm not like, what I'm saying is there's room for everybody.
Yes,
so
absolutely.
It's not necessarily that we're competing with one another. There's room for everybody. It's just to mean that if somebody is grinding harder, they're gonna be moving past you. And
absolutely.
There's no reason why we can't all move together.
Yeah.
But you don't want people moving past you when you're if you're not doing what you need to do.
Yeah.
We like to watch Eric Thomas.
Yes.
He's a great motivator.
Yes.
And he's like, man, if you don't want this enough, like you breathe, like how you want your next breath, then you ain't real.
That's crazy.
You're not real. You got to keep it You got to keep that grind on always.
I got a question. Like, I know faith is a big part of you guys' family. Believe it or not, we prayed before. They were praying before we came on, and I think that's just phenomenal. Like, how does faith play a part into you guys, what you do now, and is it any a part of your mission that's faith based or anything like that?
Faith is everything man. Whoa, everything. God is everything. I mean, first of all, we said that in 1 month we made so much money that we've never seen in our life in 1 month.
Wow.
And we were at a critical stage at that time when we transitioned to YouTube.
We could just give a hint on that because we are actually writing our story. We're going to lay it all out.
Right. Yeah. But what I'll say is that that was a miracle. Yeah. Wow. Anyone that's listening to this podcast will know that that did not happen. Most people will not say that happened to them.
Wow.
But while we were doing our videos,
yes,
we had we were praying and fasting, the entire family, and we were claiming a text in the Old Testament that talked about the widow and her sons that were desperate. Wow. And the creditors were calling her, and they were threatening to take her sons as payment for that debt. Wow. And she went to the prophet and said to the prophet, "Oh my goodness, like I'm in a desperate spot."
Yes.
And the prophet said, "Go in your house, shut the door, call to God, and take what you do have and pour it." Yeah. And so basically, in a nutshell,
I remember that story. He said, "Get what you have. Get what you have." Yes.
Went in the door, shut it, called on God, and just kept pouring.
But I feel like we need to put some context to it. Right before that, remember I was telling you I was juggling a lot of jobs as an MP. Yes. I had actually started to make a lot of money just as an MP, even before YouTube.
Yes.
But this is my first time though working as a 1099.
Yes.
So I wasn't putting away as much taxes like I should.
Okay.
So now it's tax time. I'm starting to panic. Like, oh my goodness, this is the most taxes I've ever paid in my life, and I'm used to getting a return, not having to pay.
Yes.
And so that was like my entrance into how it was going to be.
Having your own business.
And I learned a lot from that lesson. But so when he's talking about, we were like, well, we need to do something. It all kind of worked out in the same way. Like I was thinking about taxes, but more I was thinking, I'm not here with my kids. I'm off doing all this work, and look at all these families looking like they're having fun and they're making money. It was just all together. It was like this thing that just said, try it.
Yeah.
Right. Wow. And it was incredible. We were able to pay all our debt, but really the one that we were concerned about was our taxes.
Yes.
And you don't want to mess with Uncle Tom.
No. And, Uncle Sam. Uncle Sam. Well, both of them.
Sam. Yeah. You don't want to mess with Uncle Sam.
Both of them.
Yeah, neither of them. but we were definitely praying about that and asking the Lord, and it was just a miracle. And so that's kind of like an entrance. And like Rita said, we're about to write our book, which is going to talk about faith, family, education.
But learning. We're a family. We have our worship together. We pray in the morning, pray in the evenings. We read scriptures. We've been reading through the Bible and
several times.
We give a lot, like charity.
Right.
And giving is a big part. Obviously we tithe, but there's like
a percentage of our money that we put aside,
of our income just to help the others.
That's phenomenal.
That we do, and because we feel like we're blessed, so let's be a blessing to others.
Yes, man, that gave me goosebumps right there, man. I'm really interested to hear like what are you guys' plans, because you guys have done so much, and I can truly see you guys like on Netflix or like how you guys on Amazon. Like, what do you like? You don't have to tell us everything, but like, what is I guess will be the vision of where you guys want to take the brand now? That would be so awesome just to hear. Like,
well, we have a publishing house. And we already have several books out. Most of them are children books.
Okay.
But we do have some adult books that are coming on the scene that is going to be books that are going to tell our story. And they're going to basically be a roadmap so that people, if they pick up our book, they could be inspired by the stories, but it would also be a roadmap on, how to raise parenting.
Right.
Book,
more about just marriage. Like how we as a family are able to work together, and then also give practical tips as well, like financially. And I think that our overall entertainment business, we have like a season 2 coming out this fall for our cartoon.
Right.
We have Onyx Family Dinner, which is an actual like family talk show. It's going to be, it's actually a YouTube originals.
Okay.
And that is going to be, COVID actually delayed our filming. But we're supposed to maybe if everything dies down, maybe be in the studio by summer, and which makes probably debut later on this year. And then, oh man,
we have that, like I said, the app, the education app, that should be out for the next school year, so that people that may have to homeschool their children just based on COVID and their region, they would have this curriculum that would be backed by us.
So I got a question. You know how you hear like Tyler Perry Studios and now Kev on Stage has a studios. Had y'all ever thought about going like a full on like studios and like have y'all thought about something like that?
Oh, I think about that all the time, because that is definitely something where we have dreams. I'm always someone that I want to build my own platform. I don't want to just constantly be on other people's platforms, other people's, like I want to be the person that owns where I am. And so that's definitely a vision of mine sometime in the future for us to do that.
No, I completely see that. Whether it's Onyx Family Studios or whatever, I completely see you guys, like, especially since you told me that your daughter's writing scripts and I'm sure she's going to get into screenplays and just stuff like that. Like, I completely see you guys having movies and all that. So yeah, man, I know when the time is right, you guys will step into that, but I can definitely see you guys doing
agree on that.
Yeah, absolutely, man. I'm a man of faith too. So, I just kind of go with it, but cool. So yeah, it's actually 9:45 now. I just once again, I want to just thank you guys so much. I mean, we can sit here and unpack this stuff forever, but I think the stuff that you guys have delivered and just kind of bore witness to tonight just was phenomenal for me. I know my guests have loved what you guys had to say. Now I did want to ask you how many channels? I thought it was only 2 channels, but you guys said like a fitness channel and a gaming channel and some other stuff.
We have, I think, approximately five or 6 channels.
Right.
And it's, part of it was born because there were adjustments we had to make, spin-offs from Onyx Family to kids and vice versa. But
our main
we have our 3 main channels.
4 maybe.
4. But in total, we have over 6 million subscribers and then over 3 billion
like
views.
3.5 billion lifetime views.
Wow, that is crazy. That's phenomenal. I'm just loving that. I can say, and maybe you guys agree or disagree, I'm not sure, but it seems like you guys were the first, to me, that I noticed anyway, were the first family-oriented, especially Black family-oriented type comedy, sketchy type, not sketchy like bad, but like doing sketches and stuff. Yeah, I know that came out wrong, sketchy. No, but would you say that you think you have inspired? Because I've seen so many other families come behind you guys, and a lot of them are doing well too and crushing it. Would you say that you think you maybe have started that trend, or maybe would be launch that type of? I can say yes, but I don't know what do you guys feel that you stand?
I think it's a possibility that we could have been the first ones to have done it as a family and got the recognition.
Yeah,
because there's always those channels that probably did it before us and probably did not have the same recognition as we did, but we're probably one of the first. I'd say. I'm comfortable in saying one of the first.
Yeah.
Being humble, but yeah, we probably were, because I think we've seen a lot of mothers and kids.
Yeah.
But maybe not the whole entire
family, father,
or maybe they focus on one child.
Yes.
But this has been something where we always wanted to incorporate all 4, because even though our 2 younger ones were the ones that were like the more central stars, it was because our older ones were like, oh, I don't know if I want to be out there in the same way. They wanted to be more of like the funny characters, and they just, everybody chose how they wanted to actually do things. We never forced anybody. It was like, what would you like to do if you would like to do it? Because when we started, in fact, how we started was I pulled them in the room and I said, guys, I see this thing on YouTube. I'm not quite sure how you guys feel about doing it. This could be something where we just make memories and have fun. And by the way, look what they're saying these people make on Social Blade, because they were already kind of financially with it,
Yeah.
They took one look at that and we're like, let's do this. Let's go. Party City, let's go.
And I just want to say, prior to doing YouTube, I was an ordained minister for 17 years and also a marriage and family therapist. I had got my master's in science in marriage and family therapy. So I also had my own private practice that I was doing counseling.
Wow.
So to me, it was very important, being a marriage and family therapist, to be able to put the family, to portray a family that functions well.
Yes.
This is how we deal with problems.
Wow.
This is how you can have fun and work and play together.
Wow.
This is how a father relates with his children. This is how a mother relates. And this is how love looks, Black love in particular. That was really important because we felt as though if we could show it to our audience, who is oftentimes in our demographic, there are big populations of hurting young children.
Absolutely.
And I want to give props to single mothers, amazing single mothers, because they're holding it down. So props to our single mothers, props to grandparents that step in and do things. We have all sorts of models that I just want to give a nod to in our community. Different models of family. I'm not just, you know, here to just say this is the only model, because there's so many other.
I was raised by my grandparents.
Right. So. There's so many different models within our communities that are there holding it down. And we pay homage to that.
Yeah.
However, I think that it's important that we also see that the nuclear family is a model that needs to be also seen.
Absolutely.
Children that will look at the nuclear family, look at the Onyx family, and live vicariously through the way that we interact with one another. Because when they grow up, they may decide that they want to follow in that pattern. We like to believe that we're an inspiration for a lot of kids and a place for them to just imagine and just enjoy life and just to, and a place of escape.
Yeah, no, that's very commendable, and it comes across in you guys' content, because so many YouTube channels and parents, they do these things with their children that's like, I wouldn't do that with my children for likes or ad revenue, and everything that you guys do is so clean and so like on point. It's not like you put anybody's health or life in danger for something, and you actually see that on YouTube, and you see stuff is like, are you trying to purposely scare them to hurt them or physically hurt them, and you guys never do any type of stuff like that. So shout out to y'all for that.
And another thing is that a lot of people, when they do YouTube, they're pulling their children in, and a lot of people will say, well, why are you like working your children to the bone to different people? And that's just not our model. Our model was, we're doing this together as a family. We're helping them to grow. It's fun. If they ever came to us and was like, well, we don't want to do this, then we are going to support them in the area that they want to be supported in.
Yeah.
But we
have to remember,
either you're gonna have to choose where you put your time.
Right. Because if it's going to classroom where you're getting your education, or it's going to be in a trade.
Yeah.
But we have to remember that this model of raising your family is a new model where you kind of send your children off to school. The parents go off to work. That's a new model.
Wow.
From the history of civilizations, the most predominant model of family is when families raising their children and working together, making money together. Agriculture societies where you're
if your father was a blacksmith, you
became a blacksmith. If your father was, a shoemaker, whatever it is, a farmer, you teach them the trade of agriculture. You teach them about seeds. And so just because it's technology and just because it's media, the same thing is true. It's important for us to pass on skills to our children so that they can be autonomous. And that working together and making money together is not a new model. It's an old model. And it's the most healthy model that we can work together, have fun and work and pray all at the same time.
Wow. I knew that, but I never heard it like that. Like this whole model of, sending your kids off, right, while you go to work. It's automatically you're starting your day splitting the family up, right? And it's like that has to be like a new model, because I just can't imagine it being like that back in the day. So
in the African village, rites of passage, the boys would go off, the fathers would take them and teach them how to hunt when they reach a certain age. The girls would go with the mother. They would go down to the river. They would learn how to cook. And in the village, the woman would be together and the men would be together. So no matter which culture that you go to, you're going to find that same model of community, working with your father, working with your mother, passing on trades, and giving your children the ability to, learn how to be autonomous.
That is awesome. Well, man, I think that's a great note to end it on. I really appreciate you guys. I really look forward to, if we can, in some capacity, keep the lines of communication open. I know when we were talking on behind the scenes, and you were like, how do we even meet, or how do we that's just amazing. So what I like to do is, when I see content creators that I kind of like fall in love with their content, I'll try to add them on social media, wherever I can find them. And I don't even know how I found you because I didn't know your first name. I don't know. We must have had a mutual friend or something.
It's
And
a possibility.
yeah,
Probably.
it was fate though. It was fate. And what I like to do is I don't like to just jump right in your DMs and be like, "Hey, bro," and be all fanboy on you. What I like to do is just I
Right.
like to be myself, and I know my content will show up on your timeline. So I believe maybe you've seen some of my stuff. And shout out to you for buying my shirt. That was a man.
Oh yeah.
You don't even know like how that blessed me. Like you never told me, hey, I'm gonna support your shirt. You never wrote me or nothing. You just popped up on Christmas Day. Remember? It was Christmas
Yep,
Day,
yep,
and you're like,
yep.
hey, Merry Christmas, and you got my shirt on, man. That was
That's right.
super dope, super classy move. I have a shirt called Pause, Pray, Proceed. I don't know if Rita's seen it, but yeah, that was
Yeah, I did. In
In
fact,
fact, she does my laundry, so I guess she probably saw it in the laundry one day when I.
yeah, I did. Because you know what? He does a lot of things for people, and he's not always like, Rita, I did this or Rita did that.
yeah.
But he's one of the most generous people I've ever met in my life. And
Wow.
when I saw that, I was like, oh, that's nice. I like this shirt. And then he told me where he got it.
Yeah. So that was just a little slogan that God gave me: pause, pray, and proceed. And I was obedient, stepped out, and just made that shirt. And I'm probably netting like $1,000 a month just off of that shirt. So that's the blessing. It's not all profit, but of course I can probably scale it to that point. If maybe I'll get some tips from you guys on how to brand that, but that'd be dope.
Good job. All right.
So yeah, definitely looking forward to keeping the lines of communication open, and wherever it makes sense, maybe we can collab in the future. So I'm definitely down to support what you guys. Not that you need my support, but I'm definitely down to support whatever you guys
No,
are
we
doing.
appreciate every single person's support. So definitely.
Absolutely. So what we're gonna do is I'm gonna go ahead and end the stream now. And are you guys gonna still jump on the Clubhouse?
Yeah.
We're gonna jump on right now.
Absolutely.
Okay, cool. So what we're gonna do is anybody who's watching the stream right now, if you have specific questions, you know what they kind of are good at and what they're blessed and gifted at, and anointed to do. I can say that because they're believers. So if you have any questions along those lines, please jump in the Clubhouse. We're probably gonna keep it open for no more than 30 minutes. We're gonna be like snipers with this. Get your questions answered. We'll hang out, talk for a few, fellowship, and then we'll get off of the Clubhouse. So I'm gonna end the stream now. I'm gonna open up the room, and they're gonna jump in there, and we'll all hang out then. So just check the Clubhouse app in about 5 minutes. So
Okay.
in other words, I appreciate y'all for showing up. Appreciate y'all for coming. I love y'all, and I will see y'all in the next episode. Bye bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.